brazens it out.
ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਹੱਥ ਧੋ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਸੋ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਉਣਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ।
Amritpal aides clash with cops. Send out warning to state and centre. Fate like Indira, threat to Shah. Khalistan supporters go on a rampage. Our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening, you're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita and Nandagopal, and this evening we're getting you worrying, disturbing images from Punjab, from Amritsar, where a Khalistani ideologue supporters went on an absolute rampage. And there are serious questions right now being asked of the administration on whether first they're taking this threat seriously, and second, if they're actually buckling under Khalistani pressure. We're going to be talking about that. The headlines first. Congress Neta Pawan Khera let off on interim bail after being arrested for his Gautam Das jibe at Prime Minister Modi. Congress accuses the centre of dictatorship.
अभी देखते हैं, ये लंबी लड़ाई है, लड़ने को तैयार है। चला रहे, देखते हैं क्या कार्रवाई है।
इस मामले में ले जाया जा रहा है।
देखते हैं, अभी सारी जानकारी मिलेगी आपको भी।
कौन-कौन लोग थे अंदर, कौन-कौन थे? कांग्रेस ऑर्डर दिया सर।
ED grills Arvind Kejriwal's personal assistant in connection with the Delhi liquor gate scandal. After multiple disruptions of standing panel voting, MCD House adjourned till 10 a.m. tomorrow. Mayor hints at action against BJP councillors. All-out fist fight and violence breaks out in the House. RJD Minister Surendra Yadav attacks Prime Minister Modi, says chai seller will now sell the nation, and then goes on to shockingly say people of Gujarat won't join the army because they don't want to protect India. Big relief for Edeppadi Palaniswamy. Top court upholds single leadership in AIADMK, gives nod for the general body meeting as well, and refuses to look into OPS's plea. And another young Congress Neta resigns. Freedom icon Rajaji's great-grandson CR Keshavan quits Congress, says the Grand Old Party forced him to do so. Let's begin with a video that's emerged of the Congress protest on the Delhi airport tarmac. Now, even as you had a sit-in protest by several Congress leaders, including Pawan Khera, before he was arrested at, in fact, the Delhi airport terminal, there's a slogan that's raised, which we've written there on your screens, Modi Teri Khabar Khudegi, which means essentially, Modi, your grave will be dug. That slogan was chanted at the Congress dharna over Pawan Khera being deplaned. This was the level of political discourse that we witnessed at a time when there's controversy over Pawan Khera's comments on Prime Minister Modi, referring to Prime Minister Modi as Narendra Gautam Das Modi. Now you've got this video emerging where you have one of the Congress workers chanting, Modi, your grave will be dug. Soon after that, Randeep Singh Surjewala, who seated there, turns around, can be seen asking Congress workers not to chant that slogan. So you hear that particular reference where it says Khabar Khudegi, and immediately Surjewala turns and tells them don't chant that, knowing full well the damage of a slogan like that, because already the Congress is on the dock over Pawan Khera's comment. Moshmi Singh is joining us with more details on this. Moshmi, it's like some Congress leaders, some of those Congress workers just haven't learned their lesson.
See, Akshita, the video that you see, for a few seconds we hear that slogan, and then Randeep Surjewala, in fact, I spoke to him wanting to know what he really told them, because they stopped chanting that slogan after that, and Randeep said that he told the worker that no personal attack should be made in a slogan. So, and therefore you saw that he didn't chant the slogan again. So Randeep Surjewala reining him in right there. Now there are many AICC delegates who are going for the Raipur plenary session, and therefore we tried to identify who that worker was, and really not many people knew him. So that's that. But obviously, when you're already surrounded and under the spotlight as far as your media chairperson's remark on Prime Minister Narendra Modi is concerned, then you have to be ultra careful to cross that red line as far as discourse is concerned. The Supreme Court had also said, wrapped Pawan Khera as far as, making that remark is concerned. True. And Congress should be a bit wary of its motor-mouth leaders.
And it seemed like Surjewala realized that, because as soon as the slogan was raised, he turns around and tells them to stop chanting such slogans. But obviously there will be questions on why some of these Congress leaders continue to quote controversy in the way they do. And at a time, this couldn't come at a worse time for the Congress, because they're already under fire over what Pawan Khera said. Paushmi, thanks for joining us with those details. We've been getting a number of reactions really over all the dramatic developments that we witnessed, starting from that tarmac protest by Congress leaders. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has spoken out. Let's listen in to exactly what he has to say about the Supreme Court relief to Pawan Khera.
बीजेपी की सरकार उनको हरासमेंट कर रही है, और खास करके हमारे स्पोक्स पर्सन हमारे पवन खेरा जी को अरेस्ट करके, वो भी आसान थी पुलिस आकर उनको अरेस्ट करे, लेकिन कानून में वैसा कोई प्राविधान नहीं है। लेकिन मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनको जमानत दी और एक तमाचा उनके ऊपर गिरा। इस देश में फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को, आज़ादी को ख़त्म करने की कोशिश ये लोग कर रहे हैं।
Let's switch over to the big story that we're tracking here on 6 p.m. Prime. The violence that was unleashed on the streets of Amritsar by Khalistani ideologue Amritpal Singh and his supporters after he openly threatened the Punjab government to drop cases against him and his aides or face the consequences. The Maan government, believe it or not, has actually buckled under that pressure. The Punjab police is all set to let off Amritpal's aide Lovepreet Toofan. The police have confirmed, saying that Toofan will be discharged and SIT will be set up. Law will take its own course. Amritpal Singh had issued a 1-hour deadline to the authorities, saying if you don't drop the charges, you will have to deal with the consequences. And the Maan government, instead of cracking down further on Amritpal Singh, has given in to his demand. His aide is now going to be let off. Kamaljeet Sandhu is joining us live with more details on this. Kamaljeet, this is shocking. 1 hour, Amritpal Singh is given as a deadline, and dutifully within 1 hour, the announcement comes from the Punjab police that his aide will be released.
Well, there is an old Hindi saying, "Ulta chor kotwal ko dante." So here is a person who is under suspicion, who's there a case against, and he's the one who's dictating terms to Punjab police, and obviously a shocking turn of events because Amritpal Singh is actually blaming the police for the violent turn of events, saying that's not his men who turned violent, but it was Punjab police, and that 20 of his men were violent, were injured in that particular violence. Now the entire case is based on a 15th where an FIR was registered where Amritpal as well as his associate Lovepreet Toofan who had been named, and obviously Toofan had been arrested, after which all this has now really erupted into this entire matter. But Amritpal doing a strong arm tactics, getting in as many supporters as possible, and that is where Punjab police did look like it was on a back foot. Remember, things have been on a simmer since a very long time. Amritpal has been making very provocative speeches The last one he made was in Amritsar, where he spoke at due comparison with Indira Gandhi, trying to contain Khalistani movement, as well as trying to draw in comparison with Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah. Now, this is something which has not really gone down well. Now, intelligence agencies have been raising a red flag, have been warning Punjab police and the government, talking about a strict action which needs to be taken against such elements. His open threat as well as open talk about Khalistan, propagating it. But meanwhile, we see Amritpal, who's been extremely defiant. He says there are several people who are talking about Hindu Rashtra. So what is wrong if we talk about Khalistan?
No, and
this
there's
is
a
where
man,
things have
here's
now
a
come
man,
to a point,
Kamaljeet,
because
who's
remember,
made a comment,
he
as you
does have a
pointed out,
sentence.
with a threat, saying you will meet the same fate as Indira Gandhi. And he's out free, no action taken against him. Instead, his demands are being met right now as we speak. Kamaljeet, I want you to stay on with me. For viewers who are just joining us on this broadcast, let's round up all the updates that have come in on the story. Because we've seen unrest playing out in Amritsar city. Supporters of Amritpal Singh stormed the streets after FIRs were filed against his aides. He too faces a case of abduction and rioting. And so what did Amritpal Singh do? The Khalistani, in a warning to the state and centre, said that we will show you what we're capable of if you don't withdraw the FIRs within an hour, which surprisingly the Punjab police gave into, declared few of the accused as innocents as well. And then you had Amritpal actually issuing a direct threat to Home Minister Amit Shah by citing the example of former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, who was assassinated by her bodyguards. Amritpal supporters were seen breaking through barricades put up by the police. They were armed with swords, armed with guns. His aides, his supporters then breached past the barricades close to the Ajnala Police Station. And as a result of all of this chaos, 6 cops were injured.
ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ 6 ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾਮਜ਼ਦ ਕੀਤੇ, 20 ਅਣਪਛਾਤੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਪਰਚਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਬਿਆਨ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਂਟਲੀ ਅਪਸੈਟ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਦਾ ਪੀਜੀਆਈ ਚੋਂ ਇਲਾਜ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਪਿਆ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ, ਇਹ ਲੀਗਲ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ? ਇੱਥੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਵੀਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੁੱਟਦੇ ਨੇ, ਇੱਥੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕਤਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਇੱਥੇ ਰੋਜ਼ ਐਨਕਾਊਂਟਰ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ FIR ਲਿਖਣ ਲੱਗਾ 4-4 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਲਾ ਦਿੰਦਾ। ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕੇਸ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਬਿਆਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੇ ਪਰਚਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਵੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਕੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਹੱਥ ਧੋ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਉਣਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਸੰਗਤ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਦੇਰ ਤੱਕ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੀ ਰਹੇਗੀ? ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੋ ਵੀ ਪਰਚਾ ਕੈਂਸਲ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ, ਅਸੀਂ ਘਰੋਂ ਘਰੀ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ-ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕ ਕੇ। ਜੇ ਪਰਚਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੈਂਸਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਡੇਰਾ ਲੱਗੂ, ਇੱਥੇ ਅਮਰ ਸੰਚਾਰ ਹੋਊ ਸ਼ਾਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ।
एक FIR हुई, उसके एवज में ये लोग इधर आए, दे हैव गिवन सम प्रूफ्स ऑल्सो। सो अब इनसे बातचीत हुई है एंड एसेट इज़ फॉर्म्ड एंड the person who was arrested, they have given enough proofs that he is innocent. So the sit is taking the cognizance of that thing and ultimately जो ये लोग अब peacefully disperse हो जाएंगे and law will take its own course.
I want to bring in now senior editor of India Today, Harmeet Shah Singh, on this broadcast. Harmeet, you've tracked the Khalistani movement very closely. Before we go into the history of it, there are a lot of questions right now on whether the Maan government is doing enough to tackle this threat. A few days ago, there were questions asked about Amritpal Singh to Chief Minister Bhagwat Mann. He didn't speak about this issue at all. He went on to another tangent, spoke about mohalla clinics, etc. Didn't utter a word on Amritpal Singh.
Well, I think first of all, let's pay some attention to detail here in the spectacle that unfolded in Amritsar today. If you see there is a bus, and in that bus there is Guru Granth Sahib, and ahead of that bus are Panj Pyaras. Now, if you see this entire theatre, Amritpal Singh has used Guru Granth Sahib and Panj Pyaras as shield as his men charged at police. Now this is pretty serious in one sense. It reflects that this man actually doesn't have enough knowledge of religious codes, of Sikh religious codes, and yet he claims to be a Khalistani within codes. That's one thing. Now he also spoke about Amrit Sanchar at the protest site. Where in history do you see any so-called Khalistani leader, even during Bhindranwala's time, anyone held an Amrit Sanchar ceremony, which is like equivalent to baptism on a protest site? It has never happened before. And so these issues, the kind of statements that this man is making, the kind of spectacle this man is creating is surely something which is unprecedented that is taking place in Punjab. Not talking about the Aam Aadmi Party government. I think that the way he has used Guru Granth Sahib as a shield, Panj Pyaras as a shield, and Amrit Sanchar as a shield, I think they held back, they were used to throw a trap on the law enforcement, that if you act against any of these things, then, you know, of course, then you'll have more following coming in that, look, they have attacked the Guru, they have attacked the Sikh religious practices. So all that is a trap which Amritpal Singh seems to have created for Aam Aadmi Party government. That said, one thing is very pertinent here, that now the country is equipped with very strong laws. You actually do not need state police to act. You also have central agencies which can act. Anyone talking about,
that will be a question. You're right. In the sense that there should be a crackdown from both sides. Harmeet, I'll just come back to you. There's breaking news that's coming in, a reaction from the BJP, who've now lashed out at the Maan government over these Amritsar clashes and Amritpal Singh's big provocation and the fact that the Maan government has buckled under all of that pressure. Former Union Minister Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore has questioned the AAP government, saying, and I quote, "The rising number of crimes and terror activities happening under the nose of AAP government in Punjab is alarming. The state is going disarray thanks to a lack of leadership and accountability from AAP. There's a massive failure or a planned way to throw Punjab to anarchy." This is a question that the BJP is raising. I'd like to bring in Kamaljeet Sandhu on this update. The BJP is asking questions of the Aam Aadmi Party, of the Maan government, Kamaljeet. But has there been any reaction from the Chief Minister yet on all that played out in Amritsar today?
You know, today is the big business investor summit, 23rd, 24th, and this is where the concentration of Bhagwat Maan is. And obviously, there have been several questions on law and order issue, on issue of Khalistan. Several of the opposition parties, including BJP, including the Congress party, they have raised the question. Captain Amrinder Singh for all, who's been raising this issue time and again. But it does seem that the treatment as far as these elements are concerned is with a kid's glove. There is also a thinking, and there seems to be a stark difference in terms of treatment between what the central agencies think over it and how the treatment is being done versus the state subject, which is the law and order. And obviously, the onus and responsibilities both with Punjab Police and Punjab government, who obviously do not want to really stir the environment, because remember, there is a status quo of sorts. This is where they feel that this man should not be made out to be a martyr or a hero, where his fan following is set to increase. But this is a point of precipice, because remember, this way or that way, Amritpal has been on a long rope. There's not been one thinking as to how he has to be treated. But meanwhile, he's the one who's dictating terms to police here, telling them whether to take the FIR back, whether it is about the involvement. There is a due process of law, even if it is a matter which has to go to the court. So clearly, at one point of time, there seems to be a confrontation. There was a boil, but meanwhile, it's Punjab Police which seems to be on a back foot. But it is obviously going to be a catch-22. One, because if they go the hard way, there could be violence and escalation. And the other one is the other treatment, the one which Punjab Police has now taken, is given another long rope to Amritpal. But this is a truce which may not last very long, because remember, there have been points of friction in terms of what he's been stating, his outspoken nature, speaking about Prime Minister Modi as well as Amit Shah. So there are points of confrontation, and this is where Punjab Police needs to know as to whether the law is same for everyone. And second, what kind of action, and will this man be allowed to get away with whatever he's been saying all along? Because this is obviously not just sections of UAP, but clearly there are several of the elements when he's propagating Khalistani and Khalsa.
Yeah.
This is where several of those elements talk about how he may have just crossed that particular line, talking about Khalistani ideology and obviously a separate state.
You know, forget action against him. Instead, they're pandering to him. Whatever he's demanding, they're giving in to, essentially. His aide, who now they've said will be released, is going to be out tomorrow. So everyone, Amritpal Singh, all of his supporters, all these Khalistani supporters, they've all got their way. courtesy the Punjab administration. I'd like to thank Harmeet as well as Kamaljeet for joining us live with all of those updates on this big story. But what we've seen today in the last few hours in Amritsar are shocking images. Let's round up for you what we saw during that protest. Amritpal Singh's supporters staged the massive protest in Amritsar over the arrest of his aides. Thousands of them came together to give an ultimatum to the centre and the state. Clashes broke out as Amritpal Singh's supporters clashed with police personnel who were clearly outnumbered during this protest. Some of these protesters were seen breaking through barricades at Ajnala and laying siege to the police station. Swords, guns, all sorts of weapons, as you see on your screens there, were brandished as supporters of the Khalistan Ideologue went on a rampage outside the police station. 6 policemen have also been injured as a result of this. After a massive showdown, Amritpal Singh was seen also trying to pacify his supporters. He sent out an ultimatum to the state and centre and then warned that if things don't go their way, then it will go from bad to worse on ground. There's a clear need to talk about the pro-Khalistani activities that we've been seeing not just in India, but across the world. Last week in Canada, in Australia, you had Khalistani supporters vandalizing several temples as a mark of their demonstration demanding a separate Sikh nation. Now, there are questions about what really is being done both by the state government in Punjab, looking at what we've just seen, and also by the central government in registering a strong protest with these countries where the Khalistani movement is now spreading its tentacles.
Temples defaced in Canada and Australia. Anti-India graffiti painted on the walls of Swami Narayan Temple in Melbourne, Australia. Gauri Shankar Mandir was defaced by Khalistani slogans at Brampton in Canada. Similar graffiti earlier spotted on the walls of Kali Devi Temple at Sangrur in Punjab. Over the last 1 year, at least 8 temples have been vandalized this way in India and overseas. Security agencies suspect Pakistan's ISI has stepped up its Khalistani activities with an aim to revive terror and communal hatred in Punjab. An alert issued by central agencies warns that religious leaders, crowded places could be on the target of ISI-backed Khalistani groups. Security sources say Punjab police have been advised to step up vigil along the state borders with Jammu. A route that Pakistan's rogue spy network may use to send consignment of arms, ammunition and explosives into Punjab. The central government is in close coordination with the Punjab government to counter this issue. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said in a recent interview that authorities are keeping a watch.
ये सालों से होता है, हम इस पर गंभीरता से वॉच बनाए रखे हुए हैं। पंजाब सरकार से भी हमारी चर्चाएं होती है, सभी एजेंसियों का कोऑर्डिनेशन अच्छा है। मुझे विश्वास है कि हम इसको पनपने नहीं देंगे।
Dressed up like slain militant leader Jarnail Singh Bhindranwala, flanked by armed guards. Amritpal Singh is a self-styled Khalistan protagonist. He shot to fame in Punjab with his hardline oratory in a matter of months. His theories spin narratives around the Indian Constitution and the RSS.
ਸੋ ਸਵਾਲ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਲੜਨਾ ਹੈ, ਬਸ਼ਰਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਸ਼ੱਕ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਨੇ, ਪਰ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਦੇ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਸਮਝੌਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ।
Backed by the mainstream Akalis, Demonstrations have been taking place in Punjab for release of men jailed under anti-terror laws during the Punjab unrest. Violent clashes with police also occurred earlier this month. All this coincides with outlawed pro-Khalistani group seeks for justice's so-called Khalistan referendum in several countries like the UK, Canada, Australia and the US. Central agencies on high alert against potential attempts by Pakistan to foment trouble in Punjab once again. With Manjeet Sehgal in Chandigarh, Bureau Report, India Today.
We'll continue tracking the latest updates that come in on that story and ask those questions of the Bhagwat Mann government. I'm slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we're getting you all of the images that have come in from the MCD house. These are your councillors, Delhi. They're resorting to hooliganism, to violence, all this playing out in the MCD house in late night drama.
India Today Tourism Survey and Awards discovers the best destinations, spreading from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and awarding the best destination in 9 categories. Watch the live webcast on indiatoday.in from 10:30 am onwards on 24th February 2023.
जैसे सबसे तेज आपकी टैगलाइन है, तो इसी तरह से सबसे तेज हमारी सरकार की लाइफलाइन है.
Thank Mr. Puri.
I thank you for giving me the chance to address you.
Terrorism now a global issue.
The First Lady position is so unusual.
Never in my career did I ever see that love and affection in any other country than we saw in India in '79.
Pakistan has been responsible chronically for association with sponsorship of terrorist groups.
Yet another setback for Arvind Kejriwal. His most trusted lieutenant in the Delhi government and the Aam Aadmi Party, Manish Sisodia, is again on the radar of the central investigative agencies. The Ministry of Home Affairs has sanctioned to prosecute Deputy Chief Minister Sisodia in an alleged snooping case after a CBI request was approved by Delhi LG VK Saxena. The CBI sought sanctions to register an FIR against Sisodia, who heads the Vigilance Department of the Delhi government. The feedback unit was created under this department in 2015 after Aam Aadmi Party came to power in Delhi. The Deputy Chief Minister is accused of running the feedback unit to snoop on the opposition. Aam Aadmi leaders are also accused of siphoning government funds for the spying mission. Sisodia has called the case against him false and asserted that it is a sign of BJP's weakness. Taking a jibe at the Saffron Party, he said Aam Aadmi Party's growth is unnerving the BJP.
पेगासस किसने खरीदा था? केंद्र सरकार ने खरीदा था. वहां बताए केंद्र सरकार की वो जजों की, पत्रकारों की, राजनेताओं की जासूसी क्यों करा रही थी? केंद्र सरकार को बताना पड़ेगा.
जो 700 लोगों की जासूसी कर रहे हैं, गोपनीय डेटा इकट्ठा करके पता नहीं किसको किसको शेयर कर रहे हैं, तो ऐसा अपराध करने वालों को सजा तो होनी चाहिए. हम कह रहे हैं कि जांच कड़ी हो और अगर दोषी हैं तो चाहे वो कोई भी हो, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी क्यों ना हो या कोई मनोज तिवारी क्यों ना हो, जो दोषी है उसको सजा होनी चाहिए.
In the last 8 years, with all their agencies, has the Bharatiya Janata Party been able to present even evidence of 1 rupee of corruption by Aam Aadmi Party? Of course they haven't. They have not been able to present evidence of corruption in 200 cases. So it is very clear, even in the 201st, nothing is going to be.
They have always played the victimhood card. This victimhood card won't do. They must come and answer the questions because the victimhood card has proven to be a fake card. None of the cases have been quashed by the courts of law, and today they must answer the questions that are being posed to them, not try to run away from them.
First liquor policy and now Snoopgate. The cup of vows for Sisodia only seems to be spilling over. With Ram Koinkar and Amit Bhardwaj in New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
We're getting you live images right now from the Dwarka court where Pawan Khera, Congress leader, is currently stepping out after he received interim bail from the court as directed by the Supreme Court. The Congress has been saying that this is a huge win for them and a big message that's being sent across to the BJP. Remember, the Assam police wanted to take him into custody for his comments on Prime Minister Modi. We saw endless drama as well playing out today as there was a protest on the Delhi airport tarmac as well because of Pawan Khera being deplaned. It doesn't look like he's going to be interacting with the media, but we're getting you the latest images right now from outside the Dwarka court where you can see Pawan Khera all smiles waving to the media. Let's cut across live.
किसी न्याय प्रणाली ने की है इसको मैं बार-बार सलाम आपको अपने जो सच की जो लड़ाई है उस रास्ते में कई बार संघर्ष करने पड़ते हैं मैं संघर्ष कर रहा हूं मेरी पूरी पार्टी मेरे नेता राहुल गांधी जिस तरह से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं मैं उनकी आवाज और लोकतंत्र की आवाज मजबूत करने में कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ूंगा राहुल जी अपने स्टेटमेंट में कुछ कहना है जो सब्जुडिस है सही वक्त पे जो मुझे बोलना होगा बोलूंगा लेकिन एफआईआर दूसरी के बेसिस पे हुआ मल्टीपल शहरों में हुआ है सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इंटरिम रिलीफ दी है बट कानूनी प्रक्रिया पे कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करूंगा मुझे कानून की प्रणाली पर पूरा भरोसा है इस देश इस महान देश के लोकतंत्र पे पूरा भरोसा Will you be taking back your statement? As I said, this is a sub judice matter. I will not comment on it. मैं इस पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहता मेरी और मेरी पार्टी की और मेरे नेता राहुल गांधी की जो लड़ाई है उस लड़ाई बड़ी अहिंसक लड़ाई है उस लड़ाई में हम कहीं कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ेंगे इस देश को बचाने के लिए जो करना पड़ेगा करेंगे Were you informed by the Assam police to join the investigation? No information, no notice. In fact, even the FIR was supplied to us 2-3 hours later in this very court. Yeah. Thank you.
So Pawan Khera there speaking after being granted interim bail, all smiles. He's telling the media persons there that this is something that you have to face when you fight for the truth. He's also confirmed that he received no notice, no sort of notice from the Assam police before he was arrested in the manner that he was in the Delhi airport. Let's cut across live again.
It is the same majesty of law which upheld my liberties. Yeah. Sir, but don't you think that Assam police should have contacted you or given you summons?
There's quite a bit of chaos that's playing out there as in fact Pawan Khera makes his way out of the Dwarka court. He's also highlighted that this is a win for the Congress. Also speaking to the media there, Pawan Khera saying that he received no notification, no details of the FIR before he was taken into custody. Remember, he was boarding a flight to Raipur from Delhi when he was deplaned by the CISF, and then the Assam police came in and formally arrested him as well. He was to be produced in the Dwarka court for transit remand. In the meanwhile, let's in fact cut across to Aishwarya Paliwal as we track the latest that's coming in from there. Aishwarya, Pawan Khera is finally out on interim bail. He's all smiles. He's declaring this to be a victory and also saying that, you know, in the fight for truth, these kind of arrests, this kind of drama will play out.
Well, he has definitely become a martyr, Akshita, let me tell you that. And the visuals of, the person who's surrounded by all these camera is Pawan Khera, the man who's been given many garlands by the Congress supporters. He is Pawan Khera. He came out, he's given a bond of 30,000 rupees inside the court, and the court has granted him bail. First it was the Supreme Court which granted him bail. The Supreme Court in its order said you also need to get a bail from the lower court, because of which he went inside the Dwarka court, and now after almost 2.5 hours, Pawan Khera, the man who was not let, who was asked to leave the plane.
Okay, Aishwarya, just stay with me. Let's cut across live to what Pawan Khera has to say.
स्वतंत्रता की रक्षा हुई है जी। अगला कदम आपका क्या होगा, क्या रणनीति आगे रहेगी? संघर्ष जो हमारा है इस देश को बचाने का, संवैधानिक मूल्यों को बचाने का, मेरे नेता राहुल गांधी जिस निडरता से अपना संघर्ष कर रहे हैं, मैं उनके हाथ मजबूत करने के लिए एड़ी चोटी का जोर लगाऊंगा। और अधिवेशन को लेकर अब आपकी आगे की क्या तैयारी है? आप कब वहाँ के लिए? मैं जा रहा हूँ, अभी जा रहा हूँ। अभी जा रहे हैं? एक मिनट हमको करने दो, ठीक है।
So that's the comment that's coming in from Pawan Khera. He will rightly deem this as a victory for himself, Aishwarya. The fact that the Supreme Court gave him that relief, of course, the case is still pending over the next few days, but you can see that the Congress is also going all out, garlanding Pawan Khera for being released. He will, however, have to tender that unconditional apology.
Well, that is something that he will have to do. But as far as the Congress party and the supporters, if we talk about them, for them, he's become victorious. And that's the reason why we saw the victory sign that he was sporting once he was coming out of the court. And he's also saying whatever his leader, Rahul Gandhi, says, he will work on that. And this is a fight which he and the party are willing to fight till the last breath. So definitely this is something that the Congress will also be very mindful of. He's saying that now he's on his way to Chhattisgarh. If you know, Akshita, the 3-day very important meeting of all the Congress leaders will take place in Raipur. That is where Pawan Khera was headed towards, and now he says that once he moves out of the court, which he will do in just a couple of minutes, that's the place where he will be going, and also saying that this is a fight which the party and he himself very much willing to fight. Akshita.
So quite a bit of drama that he's witnessed today, from trying to board a flight to Raipur, deplaning, being arrested from the tarmac of the Delhi airport, and now getting interim bail there from the Dwarka court. Thanks, Aishwarya, for those details. I'm slipping into a short break. The latest images on your screens from the Dwarka court of a smiling Pawan Khera, now coming out as he's been granted bail.
सोल्जर ये नहीं पूछता देश ने उसके लिए क्या किया, पूछता है वो देश के लिए क्या कर सकता है।
Shah Rukh Khan has yet again rewritten box office records with Pathaan. The spy thriller from the Yash Raj basket breached the 1,000 crore mark on Tuesday. The film continues to maintain a strong hold in the 4th week running.
हमने मोहब्बत करनी है, हमने मोहब्बत की है, इस दिल के अलावा किसी से भी ना हमने इजाजत ली है.
According to data from industry tracker Sacknil Technologies, the film clocked in 1.10 crores on its 4th Tuesday, pushing the total collection in India to 518 crores.
हमने हिफाजत की है.
Crushing several records since its release, Pathaan has gone ahead and earned 500 crores in 28 days. The SRK starrer record smasher film is on track to chase Bahubali 2's records now. The film is also the 5th Indian movie to have breached the 1,000 crore mark worldwide, without being released in China. Pathaan's explosive performance creates grounds for celebration as the king returned to starring roles after more than 4 years. Directed by Siddharth Anand, YRF's Spyverse film features Shah Rukh Khan, Deepika Padukone, John Abraham, Manish Wadhwa, Dimple Kapadia and Ashutosh Rana in pivotal roles. Bureau Report, India Today.
The award season is in full swing, and the BAFTA award ceremony took place at the London Royal Festival Hall to honour the best British and foreign films of 2022. The ceremony was hosted by Richard E. Grant. A German remake of anti-war classic All Quiet on the Western Front was the big winner at the British Academy Film Awards in the key categories at the ceremony, which is an indicator for next month's Oscars.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
The Netflix drama had 14 nominations, making it one of the most recognized films not in the English language in BAFTA's history. It won 7 awards overall, including Best Film, Adapted Screenplay, Film Not in the English Language, Best Director for Edward Berger, Cinematography, Sound and Original Score.
And the BAFTA goes to Edward Berger, All Quiet on the Western Front.
Austin Butler bagged the award of leading actor for his portrayal of Elvis Presley in Elvis.
The BAFTA goes to Austin Butler.
While Kate Blanchett won the leading actress prize for her portrayal of a gay conductor of a Berlin orchestra whose career came tumbling down due to an abuse scandal in Tar.
And the BAFTA goes to Kate Blanchett.
Banshees, about two feuding friends on an island off the coast of Ireland, won Outstanding British Film, both supporting acting categories for Kerry Condon and Barry Keoghan, as well as Original Screenplay.
Why aren't you talking to partner, Mom?
That wouldn't be a sin now, would it, Father?
No, but it's not very nice either, is it?
Breaking news coming in the Delhi Liquorgate dangal after Kejriwal's PA Bibhav Kumar was questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. Now AAP leader Jasmine Shah has also been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate in the liquor scam probe. So more AAP leaders now in the ED's net, as Jasmine Shah, we're being told, has also been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate to appear before the agency again to be questioned in the Liquorgate case. This comes as today alone we've seen, in fact, Kejriwal's personal assistant Bibhav Kumar being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate on particularly kickbacks from the liquor policy and how that money was spent. Sticking to news from Delhi, we saw unfortunate and truly shameful scenes in the MCD house as councillors came to blows, hurling water bottles, ballot boxes and whatnot at each other. Let's get you those images. High voltage drama played out last night in the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. The MCD house faced repeated disruptions amid heavy sloganeering and chaos. The situation became so chaotic that councillors started throwing ballot boxes in the well. That's not all. Look at these images that's coming in. Some could be seen pushing others while some punched each other as well. The house was adjourned for the 5th time as a result of this pandemonium. This is the behavior of these councillors. Water bottles and shoes were flung by both sides. AAP and BJP councillors inside the house. Newly elected Mayor Shelley Oberoi alleged that she was attacked by BJP councillors. Amid the ongoing ruckus and sloganeering, women councillors from AAP and BJP also got involved in the fighting. Footage of the incident showed women councillors exchanging blows, as in fact there was zero way of the house actually proceeding with business. It was endless physical and verbal barbs between AAP and BJP councillors. They went at each other. Believe it or not, half-eaten fruits, as you see on your screens, their half-consumed apples were also being thrown. And some were seen pushing and shoving each other. Absolutely shocking state of affairs here in the national capital. That's all we have time for in this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up on the other side, Preeti Chaudhary runs you through the entire controversy that Congress Neta Pawan Khera found himself embroiled in today. He's walked out of Dwarka court minutes ago. The latest updates coming your way.
400,000 folds on this device is what the company claims, and this is the biggest cover display ever on a flip device especially, and you can do all sorts of things. Of course, you can see the Oppo and Hasselblad branding very clearly. Of course, OnePlus has that partnership as well, and that really means that maybe when you're talking about the color science with this camera, we will be able to see some sort of development, some sort of improvements, but that you'll only see in our full-fledged review. The device obviously has a better battery, they claim, than even the Samsung Flip 4. That's something we want to test out on the show. And more importantly, number of folds aside, the best thing about this phone is that, one, when it is folded, this form factor can easily be pocketed. You can carry it around, but when you open it up, for the life of me, maybe I need to wear glasses, cannot see the crease, right? That's what they claim. It's an invisible crease. Let's just put it this way. Of course, you can see some level of a crease when light hits it, but compared to the Samsung Flip 4, this genuinely is a work of art. Now, one thing when you're comparing these two devices, and that's but natural for you to compare two flagship foldable devices from rival brands, one thing I want to understand is that they've not mentioned anything about water and dust resistance, whereas the other brands do. So I caught up with someone at Oppo to get some answers. Have a listen. 400,000 folds on this particular device, very durable. The cover screen looks impressive as well, but the question that the Tech Today community would have for you, and I'm going to place that question forward to you, is why no IP water and dust resistance on the Oppo Find N2 Flip?
First of all, what I really like to always mention is IP is a certification, right? It's a proof, it's a label that you can apply for, and then you can write IP. Not having IP certification does not mean that we don't take daily life and daily use serious. When you see the device, when you would unmantle the device, you see there's a lot of sealings, for example, for the hinge to make sure that there is no dust getting behind the display. Even when you close the phone, because of the U shape, it closes completely flat. So there no dust can enter like on other devices in the market and get in between, creating friction and like scratches and those kind of things. Last but not least, for water ingress or water damage, we make sure and we do a lot of work to make sure that it's like life-proof, I would call it. If there's an accidental splash of your coffee in the morning or your tea, if you prefer that, there should be no issue with this. You should not take it to the swimming pool, to the ocean, but you should also not do that with any IP registrations.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
A corporate museum called The Journey has got everyone talking. This museum showcases the origins of the DS Group, its struggling era, initial phase of establishment, the downfall followed by rejuvenation of family members, revival of business, and reincarnation of the belief of the founder, Sri Satyapal Ji. It's actually the art of storytelling, which involves a wide range of media and multimedia tools backed by context-driven, strong narrative that has made the outcome truly an undulating one. It took 2 years for this museum to be completed.
I took over the business and I used to see the files of my father, the records and other things. So I came to know that what was the hard work he put in. And in 50s and 60s, where there was no brand consciousness, he used to work hard. We got those handmade designs and other things. Creating brand where trademark and branding was not known to anybody. So then we started collecting them, and there were huge bundles of papers and other things. So we started developing a biography on him.
Okay.
So in 2014 we launched his biography, and वो इतना डाटा कलेक्ट करते करते हमारे को मतलब ये लगा कि अब हमारे को ये म्यूज़ियम के लायक सामान है, तो फिर हमने म्यूज़ियम पे काम करना शुरू करा. And so that from my grandfather's time to father and the next generation and whatever development is going on, all is depicted in the museum.
If we were being accommodative, who sent the Indian army to the LAC? Rahul Gandhi didn't send them. Narendra Modi sent them. The largest peacetime deployment in our history on the China border. And please notice, I said China, C-H-I-N-A.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar launches a stinking attack on the Congress.
I try not to be loud. I try to get my narrative across in an elegant and effective way, maybe at times sharper than people may want.
A day later, the Congress fires back, calling Jaishankar a failed foreign minister and tears into the Narendra Modi government's China policy.
निजी झगड़ा नहीं है, मैं आपके ऊपर कोई निजी आक्षेप नहीं लगा रही हूं, लेकिन हां, मैं ये जरूर कहती हूं कि आप इस देश के सबसे फेल्ड फॉरेन मिनिस्टर हैं.
The Grand Old Party on Wednesday gave a long list of what it called were failures of the diplomat turned politician.
इंडियन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को अपना आधा एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पूरा हो चुका है. इंडिया में यूएस का एम्बेसडर नहीं है. श्रीलंका में चीनी इंटरफेरेंस है. भूटान हमसे दूर हो गया है. बांग्लादेश ने चीन को कॉक्स बाजार में सबमरीन बेस बनाने को कह दिया है. बांग्लादेश आज हमसे इकोनॉमिक पैरामीटर्स में बेटर कर रहा है, चाहे वो पर कैपिटा इनकम हो या जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट हो.
The blistering face-off comes in the backdrop of Rahul Gandhi questioning Jaishankar's understanding of geopolitics.
उसको समझना चाहिए. उनकी बयानबाजी आती रहती है. मैं देखता हूँ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर बोलते रहते हैं. कहना नहीं चाहिए, मगर शायद उनको थोड़ी अपनी समझ गहरी करनी चाहिए.
I'm not suggesting I'm necessarily the most knowledgeable person, but I would have a fairly good self-opinion of my understanding of what is out there.
Okay.
But if he has superior knowledge, wisdom, I'm always, as I said, for me, life is a learning process.
This isn't the first time the minister is hitting out at the opposition over foreign policy.
Today, you have a deployment of the Indian Army on the China border that we've never had. It's done in order to counter Chinese deployments which were scaled up massively since 2020. Now, if we were in denial, how is the army out there? Because the army didn't go there because Rahul Gandhi asked them to go. I mean, the army went there because the Prime Minister of India ordered them to go.
The charges and counter-charges on Chinese aggression, however, have not cleared the air on the extent of encroachment by the neighbour on border areas. Bureau Report, India Today.
Ranbir Kapoor is currently gearing up for the release of his upcoming film Tu Jhooti Main Makkar.